tonight, Premier Scott Moe states his support for photo radar. Optimism for the Sask NDP at their annual convention. And visiting the first ever bird sanctuary in Canada.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. It's a common sight for Ring Road drivers, those photo radar boxes. They've been there for over a decade, but with Ontario looking to stop what Premier Doug Ford calls a cash grab, could Saskatchewan do the same thing? Wayne Mantika has more.
Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe doesn't agree with Ontario's Doug Ford when it comes to photo radar.
What I did hear that Premier Ford was sounding off on photo radar in Toronto and Ontario.
Last month, Ontario Premier Ford called photo speed enforcement a cash grab and is planning legislation that would ban its use.
It's out of control right now, and things have changed.
Ford believes there are ways to reduce speed that does not involve tickets.
If you have a speed bump, you aren't zipping by at all. Or if you have a roundabout, you aren't zipping by. And the warning with the flashing signs coming at you, you know to slow down.
This past weekend, a group of Ontario parents rallied to save photo speed enforcement. Now, several Ontario mayors are proposing a compromise that would restrict where the cameras can be located.
Consider allowing the speed cameras to continue in school zones.
Earlier this year, Alberta restricted the cameras to school and construction zones. Saskatchewan's Scott Moe says his government has not considered similar changes.
But I think it has proved to be effective in keeping speeds at a minimum, in particular in school zones. And that's would be the highest priority space. And so we haven't had any of those discussions here.
The Premier suggests that changes to photo speed enforcement is not a priority. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Also today, Premier Scott Moe was showing his support for a Saskatchewan Vice Chief speaking out against the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations. Fourth Vice Chief Craig McCallum wrote an open letter last week responding to the allegations FSIN is facing after a federal audit questioned more than $34 million in spending over a 5-year period. In his letter, McCallum, who was elected to the executive last fall, said there needs to be change moving forward and that denial and deflection will not restore trust. McCallum went on to say the audit needs to be taken seriously and should be used as the turning point.
I did appreciate Chief McCallum's comments to ensure everyone is moving forward in an honest and humble way, and I think that is in there are some words for all of us.
Moe says Ottawa is the FSIN's largest funding partner, with the province working with the FSIN on the gaming agreement to keep casinos operational. Last week, FSIN leadership said it was set a new standard for financial accountability and transparency unmatched by any other organization in Canada. Now, while Premier Scott Moe is preparing for the Sask Party annual convention, which happens next month, the Saskatchewan NDP held their convention in Saskatoon this past weekend. As Hallie Mandrick tells us, a former Sask Party MLA was in attendance, making his change in allegiance official.
The Saskatchewan New Democratic Party convention brought together party members from across the province over the weekend, including many first-time convention goers.
It's not often that NDP members from all across the province get to meet in one space, especially 600 of us.
During the weekend, NDP leader Carla Beck received the highest post-election review result in the party's history, which means she will continue to serve as party leader. It was also an opportunity for new delegates to learn from those who have been with the party for decades.
I've dedicated a lot of my time to very specific areas, including legal spaces, Indigenous legal spaces, and learning about the economy, learning about agriculture, learning about how we speak to one another across this province and how we can get things moving for everybody. I mean, I'm here to learn, and I've been learning.
Among the many first-time attendees, former Sask Party Speaker of the House, Randy Weeks, showed off his new member card.
My experience as Speaker and watching how the Sask Party has really turned to an extreme right-wing party, and the party is just not something that I want to be associated with.
While serving as MLA and Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, Weeks posted a photo of his Sask Party membership card cut into pieces before sharing allegations allegations of harassment among caucus members. The Sask party provided a response to Weeks' comments saying, quote, Randy Weeks is a disgruntled former MLA who lost his 2024 Saskatchewan party nomination by a substantial margin, then joined the NDP to help them lose the election. But Weeks says he's not very concerned with the response of his former party.
Oh, no, I don't care what they think about me being at this convention. I'm very proud to be here, and I will be supporting Carla Breck and the NDP.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A 29-year-old man is facing an attempted murder charge after an incident early Sunday morning in Regina. Police were called to the 3000 block of First Avenue 10 minutes after midnight for a weapons call. Officers found a 31-year-old man suffering from stab wounds in the neck. He was taken to hospital in serious conditions and is now considered stable. A short time later, 29-year-old Leroy Redwood was arrested. He made his first court appearance this morning. A man is dead after the vehicle that was stolen slammed into a building while trying to evade police. The incident began when RCMP were called to a home in Creighton for a domestic dispute that saw a man assault a woman. The woman was reported to have been taken against her will by the man who drove away. When officers tried to pull over the vehicle, it took off. The chase continued for about a kilometer until it slammed into a building. The driver ran from the scene. A 20-year-old man who was a passenger was seriously injured and died later in hospital. Saskatchewan's Serious Incident Response Team has been called in to investigate. Meanwhile, the driver of the vehicle, a 27-year-old man, is facing a string of charges, including assault, dangerous operation of a vehicle, and leaving the scene of an accident causing death. Today, we are learning new details into the murder of a Saskatoon woman, Megan Gallagher. The information had been under a publication ban until the start of the trial of the last of 9 people charged in her death. CTV's Laura Woodward brings us the latest.
The disturbing details of Megan Gallagher's death can now be reported years after they were protected by a publication ban. According to an agreed statement of facts, Gallagher was killed in a garage on Weldon Avenue sometime between September 20th and September 21st, 2020. 9 people have been charged in connection with Gallagher's death. 47-year-old Roderick Sutherland is the last to stand trial. With all other cases now concluded, details of the case can be made public. The Crown says gang members approached Sutherland about using his garage to tie Gallagher to a chair and question her. Court heard Gallagher's body was placed in a truck and thrown over a bridge into the South Saskatchewan River. Sutherland has pleaded not guilty to manslaughter, unlawful confinement, and offering an indignity to human remains. Gallagher was 30 years old when she was reported missing. This convenience store surveillance footage shows one of the last times she was seen. Her remains were found 2 years later in the river near St. Louis. Sutherland's jury trial is expected to last 2 weeks, with Justice John Morrell presiding. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
All right, Sabine joins us for our first look at weather. And earlier on, it didn't really feel like fall, but today definitely had that fall feel.
It's officially arrived. I think it's safe to say we did wake up to some very chilly temperatures in some parts of southern Saskatchewan. Lee, below zero, around -5 for the Regina area first thing this morning. Didn't see much in terms of precipitation in and around the Regina area, but we did have some mixed precipitation, mostly in the parkland and towards the Manitoba border. Now, for the rest of this week, we can expect to see sunshine and the temperatures gradually warming back up in and around the 20s. But for today, our temperatures got up to about 13, 14 degrees. And as you can see, the current temperatures, the green area warmer, and then clearly the blue area, we're seeing some very cool temperatures right now. L'Orange 2 degrees 0 up in Stony Rapids. As I mentioned, we reached up to about 13, 14 degrees today as our high. That is around the average, but we should be getting back into the 20 range later this week. But there's still some very cool temperatures, especially in the evenings, that we're going to see. I'll have those details coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
All right, thank you, Sabine. As the weather cools off, you've likely seen at least some birds in flight. A popular stop before heading south for this year is the northern end of Last Mountain Lake, which also happens to be the oldest bird sanctuary in North America. Sierra D'Souza Butts gives us a bird's eye view.
Living near a National Historic Bird Sanctuary is a unique experience for the Nordic family.
The scenery, the quietness, we say it's so quiet, it's so loud, it's quiet. It's hard to describe.
But it's not just the serene surroundings. Troy says the sanctuary provides an educational opportunity to his children.
I've learned that there's a bunch of birds here, and it's just a really good place here.
Many different birds, and the sunsets are very amazing. It's just beautiful.
The Last Mountain Lake Migratory Bird Sanctuary, located 165 kilometers southeast of Saskatoon, is home to millions of birds using the space for various reasons, including migration.
The birds will go up the continent of North America from where they spend their winter, which can be in Texas, in Minnesota. It could be all the way down to South America, Argentina. They spend their winters there, and then they hopscotch up the continent in areas that have decent habitat and are safe for them.
Hecker says the historic site sees millions of birds of various species every year, particularly in the spring and fall, who are traveling as far as 15,000 kilometers.
Kind of surreal to me. You see them, it just seems impossible that they can go that distance.
The birds that nest in the Arctic and the boreal forest across Canada's north coast are up here, and then when they go to migrate, they actually narrow themselves down and come through parts of Saskatchewan, and we're right in the middle of that central flyway. And then once they get past Saskatchewan, as they continue their migration, then they fan out again.
The site is the first bird sanctuary established in North America, with Canada's first Prime Minister, Sir John A. Macdonald, signing the cabinet documents back in 1887. The land is also home to Canada's first protected area set aside for wildlife. With fall migration being a great time to visit the sanctuary, Hecker reminds people that the site is open to the public year-round from dawn to dusk. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
A Saskatchewan man who suffered a brain injury is getting into the world of 3D printing. As Carla Shinkruk explains, he's working to reinvent himself with a meaningful project that could help others with adaptive technology.
But you can build a variety of devices. The only thing that's restricting you is your imagination.
Nicholas Vogan spends a lot of time here in his home office. He makes products on his 3D printer, assistive devices to help people with disabilities.
And the device that would fit in that box, so I can create those wide range of assistive devices and little gizmos and gadgets.
He was a computer science student at the U of S, but a car crash in 2020 left him with a brain injury and limited use on his right side. He didn't let that keep him down. This is one of the devices he makes. It helps people focus on their reading.
As it allows you to track down word by word and keep your place.
This is another one. It's currently being completed in his 3D printer. It helps people hold playing cards.
It makes them very visible and easy relatively to organize. I am looking for individuals that have needs for assistive devices, and I want to build them for them, but it's hard to connect with the individuals that have that need.
He's invested some of his own money, and he also got a grant for part of the cost of his printer from the group Makers Making Change, which assists people with disabilities.
It's all about connecting volunteer makers to people with disabilities who need low-cost assistive tech.
Makers Making Change has photos on their website of assistive devices that can be made by people like Vogan.
Things that could be 3D printed to help somebody open a bottle of water, joysticks for adaptive gaming, or computer mouses that you use with your mouse.
Vogan is also developing an adaptive keyboard which could be custom to any gaming device.
I love soldering, and also I can use my software expertise.
The products are relatively inexpensive and locally made at his Martinsville home. For Vogan, this isn't about making money, but more about making his life purposeful. Carla Shinkruk, CTV News, Martinsville.
Well, 80s music lovers know the Kim Mitchell lyric, might as well go for soda. Well, these days, he might have said, might as well go for a dirty soda. Regina DeClute takes us more on a drink that's gaining popularity in Saskatchewan.
A new twist on pop took the United States by storm when it was featured in a hit reality TV show last fall. It didn't take long before dirty soda bubbled its way into Saskatchewan.
It's definitely a sweet treat. Like, you can curate to what flavors you want in it, and it's a little bit something special, you know, a lighter snack than ice cream.
At Trans Mercantile in Moosomin, the viral sensation has been a hit since opening their shop in May.
It's a vendor collective, so we have a little bit of local artisans and people that love to make things, and we love to showcase them. So we have that, and then a cafe and some dirty sodas, and, you know, definitely a sip and shop kind of place.
Dessert Sweets in Regina also added the carbonated concoctions to their menu in May, and business was bubbling all summer long. But what is dirty soda exactly? And what makes it, well, dirty?
So dirty soda is you start with soda, or we have Alani's as well, and Red Bull sodas as well, and you add like syrups and or cream to them.
The drink was spearheaded by the Mormon community due to their religion's restriction on alcohol. But it's a nice refreshment for others as well.
If your provider's doing it right, there's diet pop and diet syrup options, and diabetics can get a soda, or lactose-free people can get a dirty soda. It's can be inclusive if you want it to be.
Owners we spoke to agree that it's a pop culture phenomenon.
I think we were so excited to bring it in because, like, we kind of think that now with, like, the 25-year-old under crowd, coffee's, like, kind of out, I guess.
And the flavor combinations are endless, some of the most popular being...
Well, probably the Dr. P's recipe, which is a Dr. Pepper, grenadine, and then we use True Lime packages.
Our most popular flavor is definitely the OG, so it's going to be coconut, vanilla, and cream in Dr. Pepper.
And just because summer is over, it doesn't mean dirty sodas are going away anytime soon.
But this is something that is so fun, and there's so many combinations that we can do, that we'll do seasonal ones, and we'll have them year-round.
So you can get the dirt whenever the craving strikes. Regina Declute, CTV News, Yorkton.
Still ahead, Mark Carney's government changes the time of year when the budget will be presented. And thousands of teachers hit the picket lines in Alberta.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is off to Washington for another high-stakes meeting with U.S. President Trump. Now, while the Carney government is trying to temper expectations, there is pressure on the Prime Minister to find some tariff relief for hard-hit sectors like steel and aluminum. Mike Couture has the latest.
Canadian officials are cautiously optimistic that tomorrow's meeting could pave the way for some relief on steel tariffs. And politicians from both sides of the border are hoping for the same.
I'll be very blunt. You never know what comes out of a meeting with President Trump.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford is hoping for some tariff relief, but says the U.S. president will say one thing one day and then change course the next. At a gathering of governors and premiers from around the Great Lakes, Pennsylvania's Josh Shapiro said tariffs are hurting the U.S.
We're still seeing prices go way up because the president decided to push the tariff button and drive up costs on the American people. It is dangerous, the rhetoric he's engaged in, and his practices are making things cost more.
U.S. tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum remain at 50%, while Trump is increasing levies on other products like softwood lumber and wood furniture. One former special advisor on Canada-U.S. relations for then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau believes Tuesday's meeting could yield some progress.
Either because you hope that you're close to an agreement and you would like to push it over the finish line with a signature moment and a handshake and an opportunity, or to push forward on something that's stalled or slowed.
Expectations are high from opposition leader Pierre Poilievre. In a letter to the Prime Minister, the Conservative leader demanded Carney keep his campaign promise to negotiate a win, including the removal of all tariffs on Canadian goods. The White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt says trade will be one of the many issues discussed between Carney and Trump when they meet in the Oval Office. Mike Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
The federal government is changing when it delivers the budget and how it calculates expenditures. From now on, all budgets will be delivered in the fall. The Liberals say the changes will provide more clarity, while critics say it's a move to downplay the increasing debt. CTV's Judy Trin has the details.
In a break with long-standing practice, the finance minister says all future budgets will come down in the fall, enabling the government to get transfer payments out earlier in the fiscal year.
It's also going to provide more predictability, I would say, for provinces and territories. I've been talking to them, businesses and organizations that rely on federal funding.
The Liberals are also changing the budget framework to separate day-to-day spending from capital investments. Operational day-to-day costs include health and social transfers and government salaries, while capital investments encompass spending on major projects, housing, clean energy, and infrastructure.
When will the budget be balanced?
At the Finance Committee, the opposition slammed the minister for budget changes that don't add up.
Debt is still debt at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how many columns you try to present in front of Canadians and try to trick them. Are you guys going to be cooking the books?
It's irresponsible for a member of parliament to use language like that. I will say that. It's irresponsible.
The changes come after the interim parliamentary budget officer estimated that Canada's deficit will grow to $68.7 billion this year. Some economists say clearly showing how much the government is spending on capital investment is important.
What are we using debt finance for? Is it for, for capital investment, like, in terms that will be there for decades, or is it for current consumption?
The government says it will balance its operational budget, the day-to-day spending, in 3 years. For more details, the finance minister says we'll have to wait until November 4th when he tables the budget. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Across our western border, Alberta students and parents are in the middle of the largest labor disruption in the province's history. 51,000 teachers are off the job, and that means no school for about 700,000 students.
We're tired of a public education system that is treated like an inconvenient cost instead of a valued investment for our future. We are tired of a lack of resources for teaching and support for the students who we teach. We did not become teachers to leave our classrooms behind and our students in this way. We became teachers because we want to make a difference.
More than 2,000 schools are shut down today. At issue are classroom conditions and pay. The province offer included a 12% wage increase for more than 4 years, funding for 3,000 new teachers, 1,500 education assistants. But the teachers' union says at least 5,000 new teachers are needed. Police in the Montreal area are investigating the discovery of a premature baby that was left on the doorstep of a home.
The resident opened the door and saw the baby and contact rapidly the 911. The police officer and the paramedic transported the baby at the hospital rapidly.
Authorities say the baby boy still had his umbilical cord attached. The person who abandoned the baby has not been identified, but anyone with information or images related to the incident is asked to contact police. In Egypt, indirect negotiations began today between Israel and Hamas. Both sides have endorsed the overall principles of U.S. President Donald Trump's peace plan. It would see an end to the fighting, the release of the hostages, and an influx of aid to Gaza. Some of the contentious issues include demands that Israel pull out of the enclave and that Hamas lay down its weapons. The plan has the backing of Arab and Western countries. Tomorrow is the second anniversary of the Hamas attack on Israel that killed 1,200 people. 251 others were taken hostage. Israel's retaliatory military campaign has killed more than 67,000 Palestinians. Rescuers have made contact with hundreds of trekkers that were stranded by a blizzard on Mount Everest. Tibetan firefighters have guided about 350 trekkers to safety, leaving about 200 climbers still trapped in a valley at 4,200 meters. That's roughly halfway up the world's tallest mountain. An intense blizzard over the weekend forced many to abandon their attempts to summit the mountain. And a deadly tornado that touched down in North Dakota back in June, leaving 3 dead, has now been classified as the first ever EF5 tornado in over a decade. The U.S. National Weather Service says that the tornado that touched down about southwest of Fargo on June 20th met the threshold to be given the most powerful designation on the enhanced Fujita scale. Further investigations following the storm show the tornado clocked wind speeds of more than 210 miles per hour. So that's close to about 338 kilometers per hour. Coming up, to get out of this corn maze honoring Blue Rodeo, all you have to do is try.
Attention shoreline anglers, still time for you to cast a line. Tuesday on Your Morning, fishing expert Jason Matadee with some tips to reel in the big one this Thanksgiving weekend.
Look at that. Would you just look at it? Look how beautiful that is. A beautiful sky as the sun is setting in Regina. Temperatures warmed up to just about 14 degrees late this afternoon. Currently sitting at 10 degrees. Winds just under 30, gusting up to about 40. And we did see those winds pick up a little bit more just late this afternoon, close to about just over 45. So a little bit of wind in the forecast today. But other than that, temperatures were within that seasonal range. And we did see a little bit more of that sunshine arrive late in the day. And as you can see on the radar satellite, not much to show you when it comes to active weather. Now, we did have earlier in the day, first thing this morning, some areas, especially in and around the parkland, did see some mixed precipitation. A little combination of some rain, snow coming through the area. But for many parts of southern Saskatchewan, we did also wake up to temperatures around the -5, -3 mark. So a little cooler to start your day. Those temperatures, we can expect to see them around that range as we continue into the week. But the temperatures are expected to rise and get a little warmer as we head into the rest of this week. Now, what's to come when it comes to active weather? So far, right now, what our tracker is showing us is that there's not much coming for active weather. We'll see some cloud cover arrive first thing tomorrow morning. Starting your day off a little cloudier, but then we'll see much of that cloud cover clear out. We'll be left with mostly clear conditions for most of southern Saskatchewan. We'll still see some cloudier conditions further north and even some rain expected in the mix. But as you can see by Wednesday morning, a lot of clear conditions continuing throughout Saskatchewan and throughout the day up until we get into Thursday morning. So a lot of clear conditions, mainly sunny conditions throughout the week, but we will see some of those overnight lows still cooling down quite a bit. We can see some of those below zero tonight in the La Loche-Larange area, and tomorrow in the seasonal range, 14 and cloudy for La Loche, 12 and cloudy for Larange, warming up to 21 for Lloydminster, a mix of sun and cloud tomorrow, 16, a mix of sun and cloud tomorrow for Prince Albert. Very cool night tonight, -6 in the overnight, so much cooler tonight. 21 for North Battleford, 17 mainly sunny for Saskatoon tomorrow, dipping to -1 tonight. 8 degrees for Yorkton, -2 is the expected low for the Yorkton area. And then in the southwest, still warm, still above zero for Maple Creek tonight, 3 degrees, 2 degrees for Swift Current the overnight, but warming up to 20 degrees for Maple Creek, Swift Current, and Moose Jaw tomorrow, all seeing those temperatures get into the 20s. Close for Weyburn, Estevan, 18 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud, and Assiniboia, 19 and nothing but sunshine. And for the Regina area tonight, cooling to about -3 in the overnight, nothing but clear conditions. Tomorrow warming to 17, mainly sunny. Winds staying within the range that we saw today, so still seeing the same wind speeds up to about 40 for the day tomorrow. Winds are going to stay within that range, but if we take a look at that. Just an exciting week ahead. Your next 7 days, we'll see warmer temperatures, but you can see right there by next week, Thanksgiving Monday, cooling down quite a bit. 17 tomorrow, mainly sunny, and 21 on Wednesday. And then temperatures also cooling down in the overnight by Thursday. 2 degrees is the expected low on Thursday. 16 is the daytime high. Sunshine there. Friday, game day. It's the lights out game, so kickoff is at 7 p.m. at Mosaic Stadium on Friday. Throughout the day, we'll see a high of about 18 degrees. The expected low is 9 degrees, but around kickoff, we'll still see those temperatures probably hovering around 10 degrees. So Still a cooler night expected, and then by the time the weekend arrives, 21, mainly sunny. It's Sunday where we're going to start to see the winds picking up, gusting up to about 50. Expect rain, temperatures getting into the single digits. So 8 degrees on Sunday. The low here, we could see it still below 0. And by Thanksgiving Monday, perfect day to stay indoors, enjoy a nice cozy meal of turkey and all the fixins, because it's going to be cool on Monday.
It is going to be a chilly one. Hopefully not too chilly for your lights out game Friday night.
Well,
Riders.
That's why we dress in layers.
Yep. Dress in layers and try to keep warm.
You bet.
With coffee. Thanks, Sabine.
Yeah.
Well, the lyrics and sound of Canadian rock band Blue Rodeo are etched into Canadian music history, but this fall the band is also being etched into a very unusual place. CTV's Sarah Plowman shows us the corny tribute.
25 years ago in Florenceville, New Brunswick, a tradition sprouted. Build a maze of dead ends and trivia carved out of corn.
We've had people in here for hours.
While you can't tell from down here, each path has purpose. In a 6-acre puzzle celebrating Blue Rodeo's Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler as the band celebrates 40 years together.
Been a fan ever since I can remember. I mean, since Blue Rodeo started. I remember listening to them in my tractor. Someone gave me a tape.
It's possible to get lost here in search of the musicians' faces or shades. To Jim Cuddy, it's an honor.
It's beautiful. I mean, we just saw pictures of it a couple of days ago, and it's truly, it's amazing. Beautiful.
How do you fare in corn mazes? Are you a type of guy who gets lost?
No, frankly, I probably could find my way out. I think there's others in the band, and I won't mention them, who probably would be asking to phone management to send somebody to help them.
This is a multi-step process. Once they think of the idea, they work with a graphic designer to draw it out, and then an engineer who uses a GPS to plot out exactly where they need to remove the corn.
We've gotten some really fantastic mazes out of that process.
A slice of Canadiana for 25 years, including nods to Stan Rogers and Gordon Lightfoot and Terry Fox.
We just like to see families out enjoying time with each other.
I would advise everybody to go and have a look at it, and don't deface our faces.
But perhaps get lost together. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Florenceville, New Brunswick.
Still ahead, the Riders' offense looks to get back in sync with the return of several starters.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
With 3 games left in the CFL regular season, the Riders are a win away or a Stamps loss away from clinching first in the West and a bye to the West Final at Mosaic Stadium. While it was the defense that highlighted last week's win in Ottawa, it's the offense that continues to build chemistry after the return of several starters. Donovan Mace has more.
Harris over the middle. First down to the 25. Look who it is. Schaefer. Baker back in the lineup.
After missing 13 games due to injury, Kean Schaefer-Baker is more than excited to be back catching footballs.
Just being out here with the boys, there's no better feeling than that.
However, that extended time away does mean he is refamiliarizing himself with the Riders' offense.
It's never an easy adjustment. You know, even during that time, I really harped on just getting some of the younger guys ready and making sure they were ready to step into their roles and hit the ground rolling.
In fact, injuries throughout the receiving corps have made for some miscues.
Harris, end zone, no!
16 different players have caught at least one pass from quarterback Trevor Harris so far this season. A rotating door on offense impacting chemistry.
When everybody plays different and loses positions, it's going to be a little bit of time, you know, but thankfully I've got plenty of reps with these guys.
Now, despite that, Saskatchewan remains near the top of the league in most offensive categories, something coordinator Mark Mueller credits Harris for.
He works the whole time. He gets throws with certain guys. Hey, we need to work this. We haven't got it. Hey, we missed that one. Let's do it
it again, and that just brings the best of everybody. So it does take some time.
As the team hopes to peak with its full complement of weapons in the lineup just in time for the final stretch before playoffs.
It's become a familiarity, and I think we're going to be hitting our stride just at the right time.
Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
Pressure by the Red Blacks.
In a WHL, first overall pick Maddox Schultz played a role in Regina's first victory of the season Saturday in Swift Current.
By the post, tried to pull a sneaky one. Now Schultz with some space. He skates it down, centering feed, right side, one-timer, and the Pats score.
Schultz set a pair of assists in the first period. Pats would score 4 in the opening frame and hold on to the 5-2 victory. Also, Swift Current 16-year-old forward Carter Moen scored his first ever WHL goal in the loss. Pats' next game is Saturday against Vancouver Broncos. They're going to play tomorrow in Moose Jaw.
Board Schmidt, bottom right circle, Halliburton scores.
Speaking of the Moose Jaw Warriors, they are no longer undefeated. Ty Halliburton scored a pair of goals, giving him 6 on the season as the Vancouver Giants beat Moose Jaw 5-3 on Saturday. Landon McFadden had a pair of assists in the loss. Warriors, they also lost their game on Friday 5-1 to Edmonton. Coming up, Regina police need your help to catch a crook.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at your rural forecast for tomorrow. A little cooler in some parts of the province, but for most of the areas, we're going to see those temperatures still around the seasonal range, if not a little warmer. But some parts like Wynyard into the single digits, 8 degrees is the expected daytime high. But we'll still see quite a bit of sunshine. 11 degrees for Hudson Bay. And then over in the west there, Lloydminster, Kindersley, Outlook all expecting to get in the 20s. 14 for Melfort, Watrous and Spiritwood 17, 18 for Meadow Lake. Now when we get closer to the southern border, we won't really see much shift in those temperatures. Still within average, if not a little warmer, especially in the southwest. Again, Leader 22, Maple Creek 20, and then 18 for Rockland, East End Cypress, Coronach 19, Lumsden, Pilot Butte 17 degrees, and Kenora 8 degrees. If we take a closer look at Southey, located about 60 kilometers north of Regina, 16 degrees is the expected daytime high. Mainly sunny conditions, winds up to about 40. Southey named after an English poet named Robert Southey.
The incident happened on September the 14th, 2025 at around 10:30 in the evening on Halloran Crescent. A man went into a yard and eventually into a building on the property, stealing several items before leaving in an unknown direction. The suspect is described as a man between the ages of 20 to 35 years old. He had scruffy facial hair and short brown hair. He was wearing gray shorts and a black t-shirt with a Quicksilver logo on the back.
I'm Constable Dana Adams with the Regina Police Service. Crime Stoppers will pay up to $2,000 cash reward for information on this or any other serious crime in Regina. Callers do not have to identify themselves. Calls are not traced or recorded. In Regina, Saskatchewan, and Canada, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. You can also access our website at www.reginacrimestoppers.ca. Remember, our community suffers when you remain silent. Please report crime.
Crime Stoppers is brought to you by Leak Audiology, helping you live well with better hearing.
In commemoration of Truth and Reconciliation, a Muslim community group is organizing an Every Child Matters event. In solidarity of Indigenous people and those impacted by Canada's residential school system, the group is inviting people to come together, opening up a space to reflect and focus on a path moving forward. Organizers say this is not the first time the event has happened, as Regina's Muslim community has built a close relationship with First Nation communities over the years.
We hope that they understand that there are people who acknowledge and understand the miseries they have suffered, and they are ready to help them in any way or support them in any way they can.
He added the community group's slogan is love for all, hatred for none. On Saturday, a new tradition was held at the Excalibur Cat Cafe as feline lovers met other furry friends in the Cathedral neighborhood. About 60 tickets were sold for this event, and those on the tour stopped by 8 places to meet a variety of different cats. The event raised money for Scraps Cat Rescue in Moose Jaw and raised about more than $700.
This one is a brand new event. It's happened in places like Halifax and in Toronto. So yeah, we thought we'd bring it to Regina. We have lots of cat-loving people here. We're gonna take off from here at the Cat Cafe. We have 8 other stops in the Cathedral community. People have opened up their homes. We're not going in their homes, but we'll be able to see their cats from their windows, from their porch, and some on harnesses. So we're just going by, we're saying hi, and then moving on to our next stop.
Says that other cities like Halifax and Toronto conducted similar events, which is where she drew inspiration for this. Okay, stocks. Different directions. TSX is up 60 points, while the Dow Jones is down 63 cents, or 63 points, excuse me. The dollar went down slightly, 0.02 of a cent to 71.68 cents U.S. On the commodity front, gold up $74.44. Good jump there. West Texas Intermediate crude up 81 cents, while Western Canadian Select crude was up 46 cents. So how about gas in Regina? Staying the same. Most places, if not all, $1.39.9 per liter.
Tim Hortons is raising its coffee prices for the first time in 3 years. The coffee chain will charge 1.5% more per pour, or about 3 cents a cup. Tim Hortons' input costs have risen, with the price of coffee beans alone more than doubling in the last 3 years. Advanced Micro Devices has announced a blockbuster deal with OpenAI. AMD says the deal will generate tens of billions of dollars in new revenue. OpenAI runs ChatGPT, and as part of the deal, will be able to pick up AMD stock for a penny a share. Barrick Mining selling its stake in Tongan Gold Mine in Ivory Coast. The 90% stake is being bought by the Atlantic Group for just over $300 million U.S. The deal is expected to close later this year. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, we have The Voice, followed by The Weakest Link, Big Bang Theory, E-Talk, and then you'll have national news at 11, local news at 11:30. So 2 hours of The Voice. If you look up at the skies tonight, you might be able to catch, it's hard to believe, the first supermoon of 2025.
That's right. This is the moon above Taipei skyline, where it is nighttime, obviously. The moon, also known as the harvest moon, will be the largest and brightest full moon this year. It coincides with another celestial event, the annual Draconid meteor shower. Though that may be a little harder to spot just because the moon is going to be shining so bright.
Ah.
And if you thought you were having a bad day, imagine playing for a team that brings truth to the phrase, it's just not in the cards.
Everyone covered, slings it back, it's deflected and picked. Taylor Demerson, and then the football came out. Who recovers? Tennessee for the touchdown.
Oh no, that's so sad.
And this was just one play. Another player dropped a ball before the end zone when he had a touchdown, easy touchdown, and then a snap hit the quarterback in the head. He probably has a concussion. It's tough being a Cards fan these days.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So if you ever get frustrated with the Riders, you know,
it could
be one
worse.
of these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. And I know you're saying, well, why are you showing that? There's really no importance to the Cards. There's a Cards fan in the production. We feel for him.
We're done now.
No, we have 8 seconds. So.
Bye.
You have nothing else to say?
Thank you for joining us. No, we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy your night.
But will we?